think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, a wonderful day to be talking that good old boxing talk, I swear. And I think we got a good one. Thought-provoking and all that. And man, I've been just getting the landscape, getting the pulse, and just looking around, seeing what's being pushed and who's doing what. And other than me knowing about some for sure fight dates, man, if you go by the activity that you're seeing and hearing online, then you would be concerned. But we're still getting fights, man. It's still early. We only in the third month, technically, if you want to put it that way, for all my philosophers and things like that. Bodywork. Salute Cookie Monster. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding clear as ever. I appreciate that mic check. Cookie Monster. But you would be concerned if you was like really paying attention. But see, one of the things that we do is we got like a running tab of certain situations that's going on, and we pick right up where we left off, and we just follow the bouncing ball all along. So we don't get all worked up. We just be looking more like amusement. Oh, this is the bread and circuses that they giving us. They are giving us a lot of bread and circuses. So I just say, man, listen, man, stay tuned in, stay locked in. I'm gonna say this in the beginning. I normally say this in the end. We don't say don't listen to the other guys. We say go listen to all the other guys and just come over here and hear what we got to say about the matter. You know what I'm saying? As an alternative to what everybody's saying. Now, there are some people that's on it. It just depends. Some people are on it when it comes to certain boxers. Like I like going to certain places when they talk about certain boxers. Not everybody they talk about. And what I want to put out there is if this one of them channels, if you don't like when I talk about a certain boxer, just skip over that one. Holler at me on the next one. No harm, no foul. And we're going to grow and we're going to continue the conversation, but we really try to be responsible. And my man, AC, salute D Calico, Body, AC, salute, man.
Yeah, salute, man. What's going on? Salute to everybody in the chat, man. And at the end of the day, man, it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, it is. AC was busy, man, yesterday, and
taking the missus out for her birthday celebration. We went to where she wanted to go last week. I made a reservation so we can go someplace else. But we enjoyed the barbecue so much that it was like, you know, fuck that reservation. Let's just go back to the barbecue spot. You know, the best restaurant in the world is the one that's your favorite restaurant. Don't let these rules and other shit like bullshit fool you. But those places may not be one you could drink, laugh out loud, any occasion you feel is a proper occasion to go there, that is the best restaurant in the world. And
That's hard.
oh,
Well, I'm glad everybody had a good time, man. Got to keep the honey on Z Moon, man.
yeah,
So
man.
salute to you, man. Let me go ahead and pull up the housekeeping.
Oh, Body. Like
Yeah.
I said before we get into housekeeping, for me, I have to make a full service announcement. I have to correct myself off a narrative that I was pushing before this channel and even after I got on this channel. I was speaking on the fact of during the Bud versus Canelo thing, if Bud would have won, he would have been considered the only fighter that actually did 4 lineal champions, been a lineal champion in 4 different weight classes. The actual fact of the matter is that is absolutely not true. The first person to ever do it was Floyd Mayweather. So I have to make that correction, and in making that correction, I'll also tell y'all what weight classes he was lineal in. He was lineal in super featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, and light middleweight. So those are all the 4 divisions Floyd became lineal champion. So at the end of the day, Bud Crawford was not the first, it was Floyd Mayweather. So that's my only correction. I have to say that because I don't want to push false narrative.
Man, I appreciate that one. I know somebody gonna tuck that away in the rucksack. That's what's up, man. Okay. All right. Let's see. But your day was going good, man. As I pull up these, you having a good day? AC?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Oh.
I just had to step away because the puppy done made a mess someplace, man. And now while you're doing that, I'm gonna just run over there. While you're doing the housekeeping, I'm gonna just run over there and tighten that shit up. This dude got a thing with paper.
I feel you. All right. So number 1 of the housekeeping, man. Once the fight exists, we promote it. That is the great Romero. And Rolly always have like some quotables. And I've had my share of criticisms for Rolly in the past, but like I never really had no issue with Rolly. And all of these guys at some point in time, the majority of the time, especially when they're under the big bright lights, they mature over time. Some of them regress. Some of them regress, but don't get me started. Rolly looks like he's on the maturation side, where we can see an evolution of his skill. We don't know whether that's because he's been working with Joseph Brown. He did allude to that, but Brian Custer dropped the interview, and I ain't gonna hold you. At first, I was like, man, I ain't gonna watch it because I didn't watch the one with another individual. I don't watch them all, even though I'm a huge supporter of Brian Custer. So, it's just some people just right now with the stage and where they at. It's just, I try to keep my blood pressure down and not get all revved up in what they say, and they talk way more than they actually fight. I said we was getting fights like the big ones and everything we wanted all the time and all that. We are getting some good fights. I'm grateful for what we are getting. I'm thinking that, it's going to ramp up a little bit, but Rolly was very, I would say solemn, but I think it was more poised so he wouldn't be goofy. He had his little, one-liners and stuff like that where he made jokes, but you could tell he cleaned up his language. He was deep in his faith. The cayenne, the ground pepper, all of those, the peppercorns. He was heavy on the faith, which is cool. But when you got a voice and people want to hear from you, and that's a part of your life, then speak on it. But the first thing he kept saying, and I don't want to twist up Rolly's words, but he kept saying, man, stop like relying on these I don't know how he, like, I keep wanting to say illegitimate. All I kept hearing is illegitimate liars. You know what I'm saying? That's just how my mind computed it. I done tried to uncompute it, but gosh darn it, that's the way my mind wanted to register it. You know, basically Rolly was saying, man, stop relying on what these illegitimate lying boxers are saying, man. Like, stop asking me about these guys. They tell you this, they tell you that. Stop doing that, man. Like, he said, man, he said, out of respect for boxing, I was like, man, Rolly is hard, man. Like, I like Rolly. I like how he's been approaching everything, you know what I'm saying? And I like how he set the structure and the tone in the interview. So I give credit where I see stuff at. That's on the Brian Custer. It dropped this morning, like early this morning. I probably was already at work for about 2 hours by the time that joint dropped. But I did watch it, and I could have used that quote, but I like this quote. Once fights exist, Aaron Jones, salute. Melazar, salute. I see y'all. Gonna go through this housekeeping, but I appreciate y'all. But I like this one because it shows you that he's a PBC fighter. You know what I'm saying? I hate to be a spoiler. Yeah, he's a PBC fighter. I'm gonna run some people off right now by saying that, yeah, you're a PBC fighter. And it showed the nuts and bolts of how they actually operate. And see, that's why it almost seemed like certain people in the YouTube sphere are losing footing, because when boxing ain't, you know, when ain't everything popping, they're not creative enough. So they start going over like the Don Quixotes, you know, type things, to where, you know, all we see is a windmill, but they see a fire-breathing dragon and a damsel in distress. So they start getting real creative and causing all these messes, you know. And it's not really, it don't ever really be about boxing. It be about politics, it be about religion, it be about personal lives. It be about how Clarissa burnt Papoose toast. Like with the PBC, right? Because it's structured, like they don't promote fights until they're announced. Even sometimes we be thinking it's to their detriment, but just think about it like this. You know how a lot of times we know that it's an anticipated fight, because we went through it the year when Sabril was talking about Tio and it didn't work, but it was right before the Super Bowl. They're not going to release anything like in any of that time frame where the Super Bowl is just consuming everything. They're not going to do that. And so if they got a fight, or if it's another fight, they're going to give the marketing cycle its full bloom, so to speak. Sometimes it's a short little window, like when you know how when the movies used to come out, the previews, and you knew it was gonna be a good one when you seen that preview 6 months out, and you like, dang, it was June. You like, that's coming out in December, and you checking for it. You like that whole. And when you see something 2 months out, and you just see it all the time, you like, dang. I mean, it'll capture you, but that's like flash promotion. Like, you're more than likely that movie gonna be some BS. The thing is with the PBC, it's order and structure. They're not gonna get out of their ways for all these impatient people who just need gossip and all that. It's like, just like Rolly said, when the fight is truly announced, because I see a lot of promotion for this, for him to be saying that it's not, you know, it's not been signed. I don't know. Technically, they released that video today, this morning, but I don't know technically which date, because I couldn't reference anything they were saying in there that helped me, you know, because I knew, like, sometimes I knew, oh, that was 2 days before the fight, you know, and that was that fight. So I know that day. I don't know when they recorded this. They released it this morning. But if Rolly is saying, everybody's saying May 30th. So I'm like, it's March. A week from now, we'll be halfway through March at that. 2026 is blazing by, in my opinion. But that's how it should be, y'all. We wouldn't get so worked up and be ready to talk hours on end about fantasy fights and arguing about who absolutely would definitely for sure beat who. It would be like the silliest conversations ever, because we ain't gonna know until they fight the fights. So you know, we in a landscape right now in the time frame in boxing where there's a whole lot of promotion. It's self-promotion, it's, you know, organization promotion, it's promotional company promotion. It's like, man, there's so many different promotional companies, and then with, you know, how social media is and how these boxers feel like they gotta like promote themselves, it's like it's a balance with that. Now, some of the things I don't like sometimes when my fighters don't have nothing going on because they get, you know, they'll go dark. But when they have a fight, they come out and they promote, and they don't do all this messy, stupid stuff. You will see them working out. They might have an interview. They'll do their little thing because they've been accustomed to doing it. Like, it's a process. It's organized. It's refined. It's not really chaos. And that's what I'm looking at now. So I wanted to give a shout out to Brian Custer. He's one of my favorite guys when it comes down to doing the interviews. And I think he did a good one with Rolly. I was looking at the comments and people were just, you know, people are just stuck. People are stuck with certain things and so if you don't read the comments first and then you go look at the interview, I'm thinking you're gonna get something from it. And I kind of, you know, Rolly is growing on me. I'm gonna put it like that. He's growing on me. I'm gonna put it like that. Never had a real problem with Rolly. Number 2, Keyshawn calls himself indirectly. How did he do that, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? Listen, this is the era we in. This is the era we in. This is the time frame. This is the period in time that we in when it comes down to this. Let me see something here. Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I gotta listen to what these guys be saying, and I'm like, I know he didn't just do that like that. The ring gotta be stopped. They just prepped Haney to make himself look dumb. Man, I tried not to. I didn't even look at none of that, man. I'm like, man, I'm ready. Like, all this 5:30, man. Like, they saying 5:30, man. I just wanted to be announced before I give it some energy because I've been through the Linguini method. I've been through all this promotion, and we promoting this, and we looking at this, and then we get something totally different. I'm just like fatigued of going through that. I'm a little fatigued. So let me do the right thing, man. Let me do the right thing, man, and protect myself at all times like I'm supposed to do. Copyright disclaimer. You know, this is not mine. I'm just playing this. This is an excerpt. Like, this is the, you know, the amazing. This is I think he called himself the amazing Keyshawn Davis. Boy, is he amazing. Never cease to amaze. Why this baby not playing? See? The truth. I'm like, the truth. All right.
Sacrifice. They went in there and fight. I feel like
Day of the fight. Just what was your thoughts on that?
I didn't respect it, bro. You know, a lot of people fought Big Drake before, and you know, they just took the sacrifice and they went in there and fight. But I feel like he should have did the same thing.
He should have just fought.
He should have just fought. Yeah, he made Big twice, and everybody knew he was lying, saying that you know he caught whatever the fuck he said. I don't know what he said, but I just feel like he should have took the fight. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying nothing different from what everybody else is saying. Yeah, I think he should just took the fight. If I was him though, the next morning I would have just came in another week. You know what I'm saying? And I would just moved up after the fight. You know?
The day of the fight. Just what was your thoughts on that whole thing?
I didn't respect it, bro. You know, a lot of people fought Big Drake before, and you know, they just took the sacrifice and they went in there and fight for it. I feel like he should have did the same thing.
He should have just fought.
He should have just fought. He made Big twice, and everybody knew he was lying, saying that you know he caught whatever the fuck he said. I don't know what he said. I just feel like he should have took the fight. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying nothing different from what everybody else is saying. Yeah, I think he should just took the fight. If I was him though, the next morning I would have just came in another week. You know what I'm saying? And I would just moved up after the fight. You know what I mean?
The day of the fight. Just what was your thoughts on that?
So what the verbiage was saying was that he basically said that Hitchens was PUSSY. You know, and I'm like, so he made weight, and then we came on here, this channel, me being a Richardson Hitchens, you know what I'm saying, supporter. I came on here and said, nah, man, this don't look good. Then you ghosted us. I just talked about that. And Coach Lenny stood tall. He said, listen, things happen. And he faced the music, but I was like, nah, I got on my guy. I was like, man, nah, bro, you can't do that, man. After all that talking, all these little tongue wrestling I've been doing for you, man, you ghost us. I just talked about that. So I got on him about that. The whole thing is, this is Keyshawn Davis, AKA the Brat Pack. I guess he would a second lieutenant. You know, I would guess he would be a second lieutenant. You know, yeah, second lieutenant. And I don't know where Shakur is at. I don't know what the hierarchy is between Shakur and Bud and how Clarissa fit in. I don't know, but I'll say he second lieutenant. Obviously letting you know that, man, your friends and family playing, like you more like, you're not, I guess you definitely not the family. You probably I don't even know if that's friends. You might be in the associates category. Like if they was having a party, you probably go up to the door and they'll be like, what's going on? And you be like, hey man, it's Richardson, Africa. They'll be like, who? It'll be a party for Batman and Robin, aka Wally Kit and Wally Cat, aka the dynamic duo, who I thought were the Young Guns. No, Core and Key. You know what I'm saying? DB4. It'll be their party, and they'll be like, Richardson who? Like I tried to tell you that too, man. I was like, man, Richardson, man, don't play that game with them, man, because they ain't looking at you. AC went in, I think last week, man, about how it looked like they adopting Shushu, man. The delegation, they traded you for Shushu, man. Y'all notice that? I'm like, man, they getting the shoe. So I wanted to do Ray Ford following that friend. I don't know, because that Ray Ford and shoe. Y'all see what I be saying about the problem with boxing? But the problem is, Keyshawn Davis can come out and say something like that about Richardson Hitchens. He made weight. He made weight twice, and he was under the IBF. And I don't be judging nobody, and people be saying they change. How do you change if you sit up here and tell you, like, if I was him, I would have just missed weight and then moved up right after the fight? That's what you did. So for you to say that now, like, you'll do that again. That's why I say, man, that's why I got my criteria. Like, how you fight in the ring and all that, whether you have skills and all that, that's something different. Yes, you have skills. Yes, you're talented. Like all of y'all are talented. Some of y'all are special. Like if you don't say that Keyshawn and Shakur and all these guys, especially Olympians and having champions and all of that, whatever, because just anybody can't strap on their gloves. Yes, y'all are all talented. As far as the behavior, the thing that you say versus whatever, like you messing a whole lot of people up. So you out of all people, that's one of them things to where, man, even if you ain't having no love, you just like, hey, move on, no comment. But he's obviously showing you. He on that 5 heartbeats. Every night I got to prove my love. He's saying that, Hitch, you ain't part of the clique. And he said you P-U-S-S-Y, indirectly calling himself the same thing because that's what he did. That's what he did. And I let the beat build. I ran through it twice just so y'all could hear him say it again. So this is the state of boxing that we in, man. The last housekeeping is AC Hibachi's state of boxing. So we normally, if I open up, I might have my little rant or whatever is on my mind. Like, we ain't hear from AC in a couple of days before we actually get into the meat and potatoes. And when he ready, I just want to, because you be looking at different things and you frequent different channels and you got people that you go to, whatever, but just give, what I'm saying, if you want to go over the housekeeping and just give your state of boxing in the snapshot before we get into the meat and potatoes. Whenever you're ready to transition into that, we can get into that.
Yeah, for me, the state of boxing is in a kind of a fluctuation. We have 2 or maybe multiple competing elements that are fighting for your dollars, for your consumer dollars, for your consumer attention. Then there's the media outlets that are fighting for your, consumer attention. When you look at the whole picture overall, it gets pretty shaky because the big picture is saying that there's a big play. And within that big picture play, we're looking at certain elements of boxing that they're trying to push down while raising the WWE section of boxing, that which is just pure entertainment. And within that aspect of looking at what's pure entertainment, they want to make that the mainstream. When you look at ESPN, dropping Top Rank, legacy boxing promoter, you drop them to pick up MVP. You gotta say, what the fuck is in women's boxing that y'all would choose to pick up MVP over Top Rank? Because you got the MVP spectacle fight. And then you throw the women's in there, and like I said, Jake Paul broke boxing when he had that Mike Tyson card. And when the women's boxing did 50 million views, that broke boxing. Because it's never happened before, and Netflix put on a championship fight, a multi-championship fight. So within all of that, we have this significant movement that they're looking, the business side of boxing, the suits are saying, this regular shit, it's all right. But it ain't giving us the numbers that this spectacle shit is doing. Right now, this Jake Paul guy, we want to sit down and talk to him. Because since he came out, he's been putting up plus 1 million views. So we want to talk to him. He's viable now. Then you look at what Paramount did. Got rid of PBC. Now Paramount is picking up TKO promotions. And people are talking, well, at least for Opetaia, he's got that whole UFC crowd and that whole, they're going to bring that into boxing. Well, we thought that was going to happen when James Toney fought Randy Couture. We thought that was going to happen when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor. We thought that was going to happen when both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua both fought Francis Ngannou. What happened? Those ain't Rolex diamonds. What the fuck happened to that? So at the end of the day, man, I don't want to get too far ahead of some of the other thunder that I want to bring once we get into the meat and potatoes. But just understand that there is a big picture to make the nonsense of boxing the mainstay of boxing. And the biggest example is, okay, we had Big Brother. Remember the show Big Brother? And then there was the other show that was on MTV where they was all in the house. And then you had Jersey Shore. Now you got every one of these Real Housewives, basketball wives, doctor wives, you know, all these types of wives that ain't married, but these are all reality TV shows. And that formula is now going to start to intersect with boxing. That's why Body keep talking about, you know, the channels that want to talk about, you know, Clarissa burning Papoose toast and shit like that. Because that type of stuff is what's going to start to move the needle, because pay-per-view and other things have fucked up boxing. We allowed a Trojan horse to come in. This Trojan horse sold people a dream, overpaid people, and now everybody's like, okay, I can't go back to that type of money. I got a new house, new payment, new child, new dog. You know, I got some new sneakers. I can't go back to that kind of money. So understand, by the time we get through this whole entire episode, you're going to have a complete understanding with the situation with Opetaia, because that's going to be the main crux. But you're going to have a complete understanding of where boxing may be going. And it's up to us as the fans to figure out what side of the fence we want to be on, where we're going to put our entertainment, time, and money in. And that's where I'll keep it like that for the state of boxing. But overall, I love the fights. I love some of the fights that are being made. We have viable outlets that are giving us great fights and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's in a weird flux, and a lot of people are trying to grab, you know, to run, to be the front runner. Like when we were talking about who's going to be the face of Mexican boxing, who's going to be the face of Puerto Rican boxing, overall, who's going to be the face of Latin boxing, who's going to be the new stars to rise now that Canelo and Bud, you know, or Bud is gone, and Canelo's pretty much out the door. Who's going to be that new guy? We don't know what's going on with Tank, so now everybody's trying to either create somebody, or, you know, we're waiting to see which one of the new guys really rises up to the cream, rises up to the top. So, without trying to get too far in ahead of the show and stuff like that, that's pretty much where I'll drop it. And thanks for the time, Body.
No doubt, man. To address what you said, man, going backwards, man. You know how on American Gangster, you know, Frank Lucas came in, man, and had that blue magic. And it's like, that's what Turkey did, man. He came in, man, with that package. And it's like the fighters and the fans and all that who really didn't know no better, like they've been chasing the dragon ever since. And they say when you do them real hard ones, you know what I'm saying, you're never gonna get there. You're never gonna feel like it the first time. You know what I'm saying? It was really, you know, and he, you know, it's a cold tactic, man. It's a cold tactic, but it's been around. Probably since one of the oldest professions been around. That tactic has been around. Where they come out and they give you something, they whoa, and then, you know, it happened in relationship all the time. That's why you gotta get past the representative. Y'all wanted to sell us up the river and give us Turkey, and then y'all got us infiltrated, and then novelty boxing took over, and you heard what AC said. what they just swapped out for. I'm like, crazy. You talking about all of the top ring guys for all of the MVP guys, like, but to his point, you know, it's no longer perception. You know, perception is perception reality, or is reality perception? It's the reality is, regardless of what your perception is, these were the facts. These are the things that actually happened, like right in front of our face, and nobody really like going in on it. And the main thing was turning the nonsense into the mainstay. And it's funny that you brought up the reality TV shows and the housewives and all that. And this is when I knew my man was compromised. He just my guy, so I didn't do like I did with T.O. because T.O. deserved that. But like when I said Regis was compromised, like when I found out that they had some kind of contract and they were doing some kind of reality show, I'm like, man, bro, like I can't, like, that's the stuff Oshaki be talking about, man. That's like, you can't, like, man, if I'm about to go in there and punch your lights out, now brothers fight, cousins fight. Now we done all fought family and all that, friends, best friends. If you ain't fought, then y'all ain't really friends. Verbally, y'all ain't never really went at it and then got over it, and then they showed that, hey, we can get over this shit. We family, like, it happens. But how was Regis supposed to go out there and show, and he was on a one-way rehydration club, how was he supposed to go out there and show any, like, I'm about to get some bread after this, whatever, you know, and I ain't knocking the hustle. But this is infiltrating in boxing. It's funny he said that. So I just wanted to touch on that. And did you have anything about the Rolly? Like, did you hear anything about the Rolly? Or what about, the Rolly thing? Did you say anything about that?
Well, for me, I didn't say anything, but Rolly's been someone I've been like slowly following pretty much leading up to the Ryan Garcia fight, because I noticed that there was something different in Rolly. Like, you know, people say that once you become a champion, you get this extra boost. Him being, you know, a champion at 147, I think he really loves that weight class. He's starting to turn that maturity corner. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole section of Rolly that's like an onion. And as we peel it back, we're starting to see that there is a real fighter up under there. No longer the weird light voice, squeaky, you know, dude that's in 100-degree weather with a fucking fur coat on. We're not seeing that guy no more. We're seeing the dude that's poised, pretty much focused. You know, we tend to joke about it as far as, you know, it's that Joseph Brown work, but there could be something really to there, because we have to remember Joseph Brown is in that gym, but Joseph Brown also has a pops that was a big name in kickboxing. Both Rolly, Joseph Brown, and Joseph Brown's father were all into kickboxing. So what that may say is there's a camaraderie. There's something there between that dynamic that's Rolly's probably waking up and seeing that, why throw my career away, or why be the butt of the joke in my career when I can actually, you know, just be something that's much better. And that Rolly might be a dangerous guy moving forward. I've seen people completely make a 180 and they got Rolly beating damn near everybody at 47. Whether that's true or not, I'd have to see it. But with his attitude and his energy, there is some plausibility to it, because he does have the pop. He does have multiple years. He's not like people try to describe him as somebody that's just coming into boxing. He's been competing in combat sport. He just needs to finish up the technique and cleaning up his technique. And that's where, you know, you're seeing these things unfold. So I didn't get through the whole Brian Custer interview. I'm going to go back and watch it. That's why I don't really want to speak on it. But just from everything that I do know about Rolly, leading up to that moment, even moments where he was in at fights, and they were saying, "Well, what do you think about you?" And he's like, "Don't ask me that. I'm not concerned with that. I got other things that I'm more concerned with. These potential fights, I don't think about that. I don't even give a shit about that." And I was like, "Look at fucking Rolly. Wow, that's different." So he's in a space that, for me, listening to your take on the interview, it's probably gonna put me in a closer space with Roland to be like, I'm a fan of this dude now. He's turned that corner and he's taking everything serious. So yeah, I like that version of Roland, and that's where I'm just looking when I watch the complete interview. That's where I'll be looking to have those questions that I'm going into the interview with, and see if some of those things are addressed, and to see just how he just answers things in general. Like, what's his demeanor? You know, is he poised? Is he coming across like a guy who believes he's a champion, who understands he's a champion, who understands the responsibility of a champion? So those are the things I'll be looking for, and hopefully I'll find it, because I know pretty much a lot of people that'll be watching the playback and stuff like that. For them, it'll be like, oh, I didn't even know Brian Custard had an interview. I saw it, but I wasn't too sure about Rolly. And now, your take on it, and then my take of knowing before, looking at him before then, it'll probably generate a lot of people to want to go back and watch it, and that's what I'm hoping for. And maybe the next time we convene during fight week, or once we know his fights are definitely crossed the line, they're announced, we got dates and stuff like that, we could revisit this conversation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's good. Just to wrap up on him, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the Josh stuff. I think with him and Joseph Brown, I think it's a little bit of their faith too. Yeah, that's a strong connection, man, and that's one thing. And the other thing is, fighters mature, and when you mature and then you understand, and with him being so focused on faith and and like really just focusing, he probably was clowning around. I think he's saying he's staying abstinent. Like, Rolly, man, if he's focused and he's actually putting in that work, which we all know if we've been through at any time, saying around about, sometimes it's anywhere between 25 and 30, I'm thinking, for most. But like at 45, it's the time when you matured and just how you were wasn't. And if you in your craft doing what you do, when you put that energy in the right spot and you're listening and you're opening, and he's had, if you think about it, with what 19 fights, I think, he's had some of the best on the job training you can have. Like being in the ring with Tank for 8 rounds, like that's some of the best training. Like, it's like, hey, you don't got no CDL. All right, hop up in the driver's. Yeah, hop in the driver's seat right now. All right, put your foot down on the clutch. Like, that's right on the job. Like, yeah, we want to go right down. We in the Rockies. Yeah, we going right down this hill. I'm gonna show you how to break. That's on the job training.
Yeah, that's real fast. I was just gonna say, for me, that's like playing Gran Turismo and then going right into a real F1 race. Like, whoa, that is training like a motherfucker. So that's how I see that.
So when everybody have all of these astounding, I don't know, Devin is grown. I gotta give a respect to Devin, but I'm like, man, we gotta know the answer to that triangle. And it's funny because Rolly, without spoiling it, he was basically saying, he said, I got Ryan's number. And he was like, he think Ryan got his number. It's the same thing. I said, all we gotta do is figure out who got whose number when it comes down to Devin and Rolly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's it's just something to check out, man. And I support Brian Custer. He be doing this thing, man. He's been doing this thing for a long time. But let's get into the meat and potato, because I know people are getting anxious about this thing. And let's get into it. Let me do this. So question is now what? And we've been analyzing it, and Opetaia got a lot of like boxing heads, like from his fan base to the guys like, cause really hardcore know Opetaia. And he was just in what we would call an obscure division in cruiserweight, because let's be honest, I mean, it might have been more anemic than the heavyweight division until its resurgence. If you want to be honest, if you stop somebody and you ask them, all right, give me 12 cruiserweights right now, they're gonna be like, no, get your phone, put your phone down, But Opetaia is an excellent fighter, man. Like, that's the guy who somebody was trying to troll us the other day, and me and AC's both saying, man, Ja might be a problem for David. Like, we're both concerned because he's offensively gifted. He has great feet. His hand-eye coordination is nice power, educated. He can punch with both hands. He's swift. I wouldn't say he's flashy, but he looked good. Like, his form ain't all, awkward or whatever. Like, he got everything. And he's been showing it and proving it. So we were all at a dilemma because we like, man, if you say you want to get undisputed, and I don't want to go through all my examples, but I can do it, then why would you go over there to Zuffa? Because it don't make no sense, man. And then we was going over the logic and the law, and I put up a little PDF up here and showed people what it was, but I think that people still aren't getting it. Like, there's a major chess game going on, and it's the major sanctioning bodies against this new entity, which, if it's the American dream to open up a business and start it and make it be successful, that's the American dream. At our core, we love business. So we're not knocking that. We were saying, since we love the sport of boxing, was that good for the sport of boxing? See, these are the times when we're entitled to our own self-interest. And so for something that I want, and I've been connecting some dots for him and David Benavidez, which is ultimately the fight I want to see. If I can't see him and Bivol, you know what I'm saying, maybe even him and Beterbiev, I want to see him and Ja. I think he gonna watch Zurdo. That's just me. I seen what Bivol did to Zurdo. So yeah, up the cruiserweight, Zurdo do look better, but that's what we want. So when we look at it, we be looking at it our own self-interest, like what's the best way, even though it might not be the fastest way, but what's the most logical way? If they move these steps in about 2 or 3 fights, we should be able to see this, and this. And we should love 2 of them and be like, meh, for 1 of them. But ultimately, we should get what we want. So we was looking at Opetaia like that. So I was at a crossroads personally, because I'm like, man, I don't want it to seem like I wouldn't shit on Ja. It ain't nothing to shit on. But just like everything else, since we always talk about the business of boxing, we do got a question like when fighters go and choose the move, where they go and choose the move, especially when they already tell you what they plan on doing. It didn't make any sense. And so I was just looking at it, man, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I know everything about Zuffa. I learned more when AC and Malazar had the debate. Had me going back to go brush up on the Muhammad Ali and all that. Then I started looking into Zuffa, and I said, well, let me look at the product. Let me analyze the product. And I've been watching it, but I'm like, I like Pro Box already. It's more established. I think it's more understandable. Like right now, it's not even kinks. We don't even know. We've bought into something that still got Bambi legs. I seen somebody fighting out there with a club foot. No offense, respectfully. But like, come on, man. There was somebody out there that had just fought 3 weeks ago. I'm like, come on, man. So we were questioning, and it's been this power struggle. Whereas the sanctioning bodies, let's just say, if you want to say it, that's the evil we know. It's like we worked out the kinks. We know it's flies in the ointment, but for the most part, and especially the IBF, I always say, you got to give the IBF champions extra credit. Why? Because of the rehydration. Because of how the IBF really enact their rules. They're probably the most strictest on their rules. So we already seen it coming 100 miles, like, man, they about to play chicken. And we start looking at the bigger picture. And the power struggle now is to try to take it from the evil that we know, which is the 4 major sanctioning bodies, which we know how they work. We would say 80-20, 80% of it is like, okay, cool, they keeping it, they regulating, they sanctioning fights, there's insurance and all kind of other things wrapped up into that for something that's brand new in the dictatorship, ran by a promoter. The firewall is no longer there. It's like you go out in nature and it's gonna be a pack and somebody gonna rise to the top. It ain't gonna be no vote. That's what they got going on over there. We bring you in, we pay you, we bring in an op, we pay them. We can make you look good. We could, we don't know. Like it ain't who's gonna the pay. The fact that they're taken from this, the funny part. They took Opetaia from being the IBF Cruiserweight champ and Ring Magazine champ over there to fight the dude that they were saying number 10. I thought he was number 12, but they were saying he was number 10. But he was number 10 in the IBF. Like, why would you have to go over there to do that? And it's a bigger picture. For me, it has something to do with David Benavidez, and it also has something to do with what AC didn't get to do when we did the piece, when I did the pulse. So I'll let you have it, AC, so you can break it, because I was like, I wanted you to be able to say it, man, and speak on it.
So basically, this is where I was coming from. I just noticed that within the situation with Opetaia and the IBF, right? I saw something there, and then I saw a thing from Ring Magazine talking about Shakur wants to go back down to 35 to challenge Opetaia. Opetaia is the IBF champion. So if Shakur goes down there and he beats Opetaia, right? He said in his thing, he likes the Ring Magazine because there are no fees. It's for free. So in order for you to fight for Opetaia's belt, the IBF belt is going to be on the line as well, unless y'all making some weird deal. Now, that's also going to be an attack on another sanctioning body led by Shakur Stevenson, in the fact that everybody's got Shakur as the darling. He's, he had these joint, he's heir apparent to Terrence Crawford. He's already got everybody feeling the way they feel about the WBC, him and Bud. Now, combine Opetaia and Shakur for the IBF. Now you're attacking two sanctioning bodies. So we're seeing this pattern of how they're systematically going after each sanctioning body one by one by one to discredit them. And it seems like the tip of the spear may be the common guy who's involved in both or potentially involved in both, and that's Shakur Stevenson. So now we could see the strategic Stevenson agenda. So that's where I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, if this is what's really fucking going on right here, and you're using, big name fighters, and I've already seen people be like, the IBF is butthurt because Opetaia is not representing their belt, and the IBF is wrong. They should have bent the knee to let Opetaia keep his belt and do this because they did it with Bud and what's the name? They took a promotional role. That wasn't putting up a champion. And then they was trying to say, well, Zuffa had its own undisputed belt, but they just couldn't say. So it's just this weird dynamic now that you're looking at the IBF. Now IBF is on the hot plate. Now we're all talking about the IBF. Oh, was the IBF right or wrong? What side of the fence do you want to be on? This is the strategic plays. This is how you sow doubt. This is how you make people and the fans draw lines in the sand. So just be aware of shit like this going on at this level. But if you're not watching everything that's going on, you can be easily gaslit, duped, and then brought into the other side of where they're, gonna manipulate everything. And I don't want to be a person that's saying this side or that side, but this type of situation makes a fan like myself and us hardcore fans that love the sport of boxing, that makes us say, hey, wait a fucking minute here. You're gonna seriously try to make me choose? I like this fighter, but what the fuck's going on? And that's where that's pretty much where I landed. And if you guys could really understand the ramifications of that, then you can really understand this play that Turk and Zuffa and Dana White are trying to put down.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm compartmentalized because I get to going in, man. So it's just wild because in looking at the post fight and understanding the man, he's been through this before. He got stripped before. That's the whole thing. It was precedence for this before. So it was like, it's one of them things to where it's like, and I'm not coming down on Ja. What I'm saying is, like, this was something that was foreseeable. And if you look at the conversation, like, everybody's just woe is me and this and this and that. And I'm like, do y'all know how much these cats are going to be getting paid? Like, if you're like the apex predator, okay. But that's one off. And that, man, like, it's almost like that joke. Bill Gates, like when Chris Rock said, man, if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah money, he'd throw himself off the fucking balcony. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm listening to John and he's been through it before. He said, I got my jaw broke for this. And I felt it. And I'm like, hey man, it's not you as the fighter, man. It's just that as dangerous as you are, as accomplished and predatoristic you are, and skilled and all of that, as you are, you got taken advantage of. And I think it's a bigger, it's AC just outlined it too. It's a bigger play, y'all. So y'all could, you could get caught up in minutiae and argue with these people and talk about all these fantasy fights to where you're not gonna ever equivocally prove that what you're saying is whatever. It's just banter. Okay, you keep yourself occupied. Don't keep yourself occupied with the minutia of all this if you're not trying to understand what's going on right now. They're trying to like take the legs out from up under the sanctioning bodies. Yeah. Like this is like the starter kit. Like there's nothing, but just like everybody, it's not quite like the Triller thing, but it's all these, like, I'm gonna say fly by night. Even if you look at how shaky and wobbly he's saying that the turkey thing is doing, and it's kind of like alluding to that there is proof. Why? Because what was the money for Boots and all them this time? Or was it that the nice guy in Boots I don't ever recall him disrespecting Turkey. It was no money for that. Eddie got to do something with his own, but Turkey ain't involved. Turkey is like, hey, I'm going Zuffa. I'm behind the Zuffa. Why would I? And he told us. He told everybody who ever dared to listen that this is what he was going to do. He was going to attack, and you're seeing it being rolled out in real time. You just not witnessing. You getting caught up because of your emotions of a fighter and the fact you like this guy. We all like that guy. We just know that he just got used. Why? Because if you want to get undisputed, you took one huge step forward, right? And then, I don't know, you got to say at least 2 or 3 steps back. And people trying to falsely report that he was giving his strap back. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, man. Y'all want to make a mockery out of everything. It's like you can't imagine playing for the Bulls and playing for the New York Knicks. Like, at the same time. In essence, in this situation, that is what this is. In this situation. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Because this is one part. This is one part. You gotta understand, and I had to really think about this and all the nuances when this thing happened with Shakur, and I was like, why are people acting like silly with this stuff? It's like, if let's just say Brandon Glanton would have did something horrible to Ja. Like that was the IBF champion. That was their name, image, and likeness. That was they had stock in that guy. He was representing. He was waving the flag for them. What happened? So you want me to hold a spot over there While you go over here and do this, it's like, no, it's y'all like want monogamy unless you want to unify the belts. That Zuffa stuff, if they would have done like what AC was saying, like where they actually tried to start their own sanctioning body or try to go that route, that'd have been something different. Then everybody would have looked at them just like whenever the last thing before when it went from 3 to 4, they would have looked at it the same way. Where in time it would have went, it would have been acceptable.
Yeah,
we'd been saying the true 5 belt era. But go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and just to piggyback off that point, in clarifying what I'm saying is that for Zuffa, the best play, in my opinion, looking at the end product, looking at the result and everything, you had the perfect storm. You know, it would have worked, but it doesn't work in the way you're trying to put it out. It works perfectly if you just become a sanctioning body. If you file your paperwork, you do the government thing, you feel what I'm saying, you open yourself up as a promoter, right? You could still have Dana White as an advisor, same role Al Heyman plays, because he's the person who started one of the co-people who started PBC. So you put yourself as an advisor, right? Boom. The tournaments that you have or you want to do, you can still do them, because we remember the WBO tournament, you know, that gave rise to fighters like if I'm correct, Josh Kelly,
Taylor,
yeah, Josh Taylor and Regis. You feel what I'm saying? So that tournament allowed Tio to come up and fight Taylor and then become the number 1 guy, which then Shakur goes up there and beats him to become the number 1 guy in this big joint. So you have to respect what that thing birthed. It aged like fine wine. You know, when we talk about the long-term picture of boxing, what was wrong with TKO still doing the same thing and bringing in all the other sanctioning bodies that were already down with it for the WBO? Now you're doing it for TKO, because right now TKO and the WBO both have the blueprint on how to put up these type of tournaments, because it's part of their business model. Or TKO, it's definitely part of their business model. You still have your belt, you still have somewhat the feeder system, but the guys that are signed with you, maybe you could do something slick and say, you know what, everybody that's down with that Zuffa promotion, all of them dudes are all Ring Magazine champs. So if one of them dudes want to scrap, you definitely fighting the best of the best, because that's where all the best guys go. You know what I'm saying? So there was a definite structure there. There is a definite structure there. But as long as you keep trying to circumvent and become this weird UBO that cannot, by the nature of the UBO that you're trying to affiliate yourself with, that organization, you can't play nice with the other sanctioning bodies, and they can't play with you. So you're putting yourself way out on the fucking island for nothing. And that's the big problem that I'm having, because you'll be essentially fucking up one boxer's career to build your brand. And that completely goes against the Muhammad Ali Act. And we can't be out here supporting that.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what it was. It was just like, and the fans, fans are not taking out on job, but it's like, what is your road to undisputed now? It's like, okay, you got the bread, and it's like, because I seen an article where, you know, somebody was saying he had to make a choice between legacy and wealth, and I'm like, well, I mean, shoot, he deserved to get paid. I always say, man, get your money, little duffel bag boy. You always get that bread. You know, because at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. Like, and plus, you are in the most hazardous profession out there. You get hit in the head, you know, it could be over with one punch. So it was the look on his face, man. It was like, man, he couldn't really even enjoy the win, because it's like, dang, I got this. And then he saw what it was, where it was just nothing but Zuffa on everybody, you know. That's worse than a 360 from the outside looking in. Now, I'm sure he got some bread. I'm not pocket watching. the name, image, and likeness, and now we don't know. And my whole thing is not that somebody should just come out and brag and do this. Well, we know that Conor got a 1-fight deal. How come we don't really know how long Opetaia is supposed to be over there? How come going into this, we don't, like, nobody thought about this? It's like, okay, well, they told him, and we went over it over here. They said, listen, if you go over there and you treat whatever they give you like a trinket, like you're not going to go over there and be a champion, okay, go fight. So you can go over there and do that. You can fight. We'll say shit. You can fight as long as it's not for a championship, but you can't do both. And as soon as they really hold my beer, and then y'all was just gonna proceed and say that it was out of two of the guys in their champion and the number 10 guy in their ranking system. Y'all. That's why I say it's hypocritical in nature, because it's the same thing I just called out on Turkey. I said, man, it's wild how they are, quote unquote, cherry picking these guys, or they got these favorites, and these favorites just so happen to be people who have matriculated the championship status or high enough in the rankings to where they making enough noise to where people want to see them. But they already got through the ranking systems. Then they can say, oh, well, forget them belts. Just come over here. The birth of the fighters that you got weren't plucked from obscurity. They had already rose to the highest levels in those sanctioning bodies, the ones you were trying to wipe the legs out from under. And here we go, Zuffa doing the same thing Turkey was doing. That's why I was saying, how you gonna say F the belts and it's just about the ring? Where the ring is supposed to be the number 1 and number 2, the number 1 and number 2, and what? And what? Based on all the votes and the sanctioning bodies and all that, and how they actually matriculate through the ranking systems. Experience, championship pedigree, like losses, wins, draws, like everything, the whole kit and caboodle. And here they go. So they pluck Jai, and so this is a double-edged sword, because he was just used. He a king. So no disrespect. This ain't to Opetaia. This is for the move. He a king, but he was treated like a pawn just now in a bigger scheme. And this wasn't only to devalue the sanctioning body. This was also, y'all notice how this is just another opponent. I touched on this the other day. This is just another big opponent that would have been for David Benavidez. Outside of Tank, probably over there with the PBCs, probably the second highest, like, star power who's really doing their thing, really rumbling and making some noise. This is what, the third guy? Because remember, history tells us that David Benavidez went over there. He had a cup of coffee with Sheik. He said, what's going on? What's going on? Remember, because that day Dave was a little slizzard. He was sitting down. He was having himself a good time. No harm, no foul. Live your life. But he went over there for the cup of coffee. And then he was supposed to get the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. Well, when it went to Bivol, it was getting ready to happen, and Benavidez was still with them. This is before the yard fight. Turkey said, hey, don't bite the hand to feed you, Bivol. You know what you know what I'm saying? Whatever. In essence, they made Bivol drop the belt. This is not how Usyk just dropped that shit for Wardley and said, no, if Parker would have won, I would have fought him. But no, I'm not fighting him. And now we find out he's going to fight a kickboxer. No, they basically made Bivol say, nope, we're going to go ahead and do the trilogy. Go ahead and drop that shit. And that's how David, you know what I'm saying, David had to fight, you know what I'm saying, but that's how he did it. That was Bivol. The Beterbiev went by the wayside because he wanted to pursue, because it was perceivably 1-1. So they had to go and finish the trilogy, or at least attempt or go do that. That left David Benavidez on the outside looking in once again. And this is after he's already moved on from Canelo, and he started moving in the way to where I got to grab the bull by the horns and do this for my own career. So no Bivol, no Beterbiev. Yes, we got a yard. And some people wanted it, but like, as far as wanting it and saying, okay, cool, that's a good fight. Like, yeah, that was, you know what I'm saying? Not like, but like something that we demand. Like, we would love to see him in Opetaia. We would love to see him in Bivol. We would love to see him in Beterbiev. At this point, those are the biggest names. Those are the biggest fights. But now Opetaia is getting messed with. Y'all don't see the pattern, double-edged sword. The sanctioning bodies and the stars of, I hate to say it, the second coming of the PBC. Now remember, Tank, he brought all the opposition. Shakur started messing with him. Keyshawn started messing with him. Even when Tank was like, man, hey, you gonna mess up in your mask, he looking better than you, Shakur, like, and everybody like, oh. Turkey went and got all them guys. Anybody that might remotely even think about had been in a fight, he was entertaining. At one point in time, before him and Lamont fought, they was entertaining him getting Lamont. Like, they was like, especially afterwards, before we knew whether or not it was going to be a rematch or not. Turkey did that to almost all of the good opposition that happened to Tank. He did the same thing with all of the opposition with David. Except for David got a little something because he went over there and got, you know what I'm saying, the yard thing. And he had, you know, he had his card and all that. So he got something out of the deal. But look at all that. He got Anthony Yard. Now getting Opetaia in the ring, that's questionable because who has the answers? And no Opetaia and no Bivol in sight. He had to grab the bull by the horns and he getting a Zerto. But just, I'm trying to connect some dots for y'all, man. Am I off? AT?
No, you're not off, man. At the end of the day, the part that's still perplexing to me is, all right, if Brandon was ranked number 10, right? He's now ranked number 15. So, and this is the IBF, so he's holding his rankings, or I didn't check. I don't know what he was ranked prior to this with the WBO, but he's in the WBO, and right now I'm just quickly looking at it, and he's ranked now 15th in the IBF. But the IBF still has him, or boxing scene still has him as the IBF champion. So I don't know if there's some sort of litigation. I don't know what's going on because this has not changed, but I've seen updates and other things that, you know, boxing scene and other sanctioning bodies have changed. So that's the weird part to me. You know, the weird part is also the fact that he took all of those pictures and stuff like that with the Zuffa belt, with the IBF belt, and with his ring belt. So I'm just like, bruh, I don't know if that's really a good thing if they stripped you of that belt, because then it's a likeness issue and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's trademarks, it's stuff like that, owning the rights to some shit, and someone's saying that they represent your shit that you're not. Maybe they have a problem with it, maybe they don't. Maybe he got a cease and desist letter. I don't know. But the part where we're talking about, we're not blaming Ja. We're talking about the decisions of Zuffa. We're talking about the decisions, rightfully so, of the IBF. We're talking about Ja's team possibly, and trying to figure out, as it looks, it may look like the type, it may be the type of thing, again, that just simply says, at some point, somebody was highly dishonest with Ja. So he's thinking he's going into something under fair pretenses, because the crux of it is this. If old boy was ranked in the same ranking system as Ja, and you were down there at 10 or whatever, wherever it was reportedly you being ranked right before the fight, you're still within the IBF. This is an IBF on IBF fight. You feel me? So to us fans, we're like, well, why didn't they just sanction it? It's two guys from the IBF fighting for the belt. Why couldn't they just say it was, you know, they're fighting for Ja's title, and this is a title defense? Because the problem then becomes this: you're fighting not by a sanctioned IBF fight for this thing, but there's this other belt that they're saying is a championship belt that they can't sanction with. So that belt has to be relegated, or that bout has to be relegated to something less. more than likely the belt. They don't want to call a belt a trinket. They don't want to call it a trophy. They don't want to call it anything else but a world championship title. That inherent is the problem. That's the part where people can muddy it up and then ask the questions and do the thumbnails where they got the look like, I don't know, with the big question mark, and say, well, was the IBF right? I don't know. And now they're gonna muddy it up by just asking questions, and that's the best way to do it. Well, you know, based on what we know, and they'll tell you stuff like that. Based on what we know, both of the guys were IBF, so I don't know why the IBF just didn't play ball with them. I don't know what's going on with the IBF. What do they have to hide? It's shit like that that'll make you start to question the sanctioning body, not the motherfuckers who actually got the bag of money in their hand, got the mask and the gun in their hand. You won't question them. You're looking at the security guard like, how did you let this robbery happen? Like, I'm just a security guard. The fuck do you mean? I was on the ground with everybody else. Okay, you guys in the mask, you're okay. You can go. We don't need to talk to you. And that's that Keystone Cop shit. And that's the part of the thing that we're over here trying to say, all right, let's cut through the Keystone Cop bullshit. Let's you know, let's keep it straight by the book, straight by the number. Who can we look at and say, all right, you just fucked this dude, you know, you just fucked this dude over in this situation. Hopefully he can bounce back and it's not as damaging as it appears to be right now. Because again, the only part that gives me some sort of light is the fact that the IBF has not taken him off his thing. And we've seen the IBF as soon as they stripped Usyk, as soon as they stripped Canelo, 24 hours later, that shit was vacant. But this shit is not vacant yet. So it's just telling me that, hey, maybe there's some sort of light. The IBF is, you know, really trying to work with the dude to be like, from our investigation, we're seeing that, yeah, you were duped. So just take this shit as a hard warning. I'm hoping it's a situation like that. But when you read about it and you just try to simply Google it, it's telling you there's no concession. He is stripped. So
you know what they did, AC? They got headlines with Dana White saying that litigation might be involved. I'm like, at this point, who want to be tied in litigation? I'm sure it happened in boxing over the years all the time and all that, you know. I know. But like, this is starting to become like the main centerpiece now. So he's saying litigation. And so I'm like, my only question is, when was it announced as a Zuffa, inaugural Zuffa championship belt? Because I thought that it was advertising as the Ring magazine and the IBF.
yeah,
Because I don't know how long ago they actually started it. Because it's to my understanding, once the IBF figured out, and I think it was like 2 days before or a day before, 2 days before or something like that. Once they figured out that was going to be a championship, they were like, "Oh, we pulling our sanction."
yeah.
And one of the things, this is what I wanted to go over, which I think is important for people to hear. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I thought it was something interesting, and I've been going in on the little reports here lately, so I'm gonna spare y'all. But I do want to say this. Now, this was before, and this will kind of help you understand. This is before the fight when we was going over this, and we were saying this is a bad move, and I didn't read it before, but it says why the IBF objects. The IBF only recognizes sanctioned championships within its governing system. Promoter-created titles can undermine sanctioning body authority, bypass mandatory challenger rules, compete with the sanctioning fees and ranking system. So sanctioning body authority is like, if it's going to be a fight that's sanctioned, meaning that, okay, everything's clear, everybody been checked out, as the champion over here, I can't go over there and be like, hey man, that doc or however this system was, or that's not right, and you are our champion. So it has been a power struggle where the promoters have kept going back to the drawing board trying to figure out how to gain more of their power, and it's like ebbs and flows to where it's like, you know, it's like somebody playing tug of war, where they pull and they push and they pull and they push, you know what I'm saying? But like the sanctioning bodies are pretty much rooted and grounded, and they are responsible for more than what they're more than responsible than just giving somebody something to put around their waist. They do more than that. It's sad that here lately it's been reduced to that, and the corruption has been highlighted. But this was clear beforehand. So when I say maybe he thought that, I don't know, because they did it before when he chose to fight somebody else instead of Myers Breeders. It's like, so he did it and they stripped him. So I think that it's a matter of the litigation part would only come if the IBF can't claim that they been knew whenever they sanctioned it that it was going to be for a Zuffa championship. I think that's the devil in the detail right there. Whereas they knew at that time, it might be probable cause, but it's public information. Like, this is public information. This is out here for anybody to consume.
Yeah. Now, I just wanted to ask you to just read that opening statement again of what you just read as far as about the IBF.
Why the IBF objects?
Yeah.
The IBF only recognizes sanctioned championships within its governing system. Okay.
For people who've been following us and we're here for that me and Malazar debate, we were both talking about within the governing system, right? These sanctioning bodies are nonprofits. Within a nonprofit, you have to write what's called your bylaws. That's your governing system, the bylaws. If the bylaws state something, then you just can't do it, because when you adjust that the following year, when you fill out your 990, you can't put what you did and it doesn't work retroactively. You have to put it in first and then move on. You feel what I'm saying? So within your bylaws, when you write your bylaws and when you want to change your bylaws, right? It has to be done at the end of the year when these companies have to fill out this federal government 990 form that tells you exactly what you're doing, if you're going to create a new belt, whatever. So this is one of the reasons why it was also stated in that comment that the IBF doesn't like, and these type of sanctioning bodies don't like these creative belts that, and these weird fights that fuck around and move people around the system, because the guy who's been waiting his turn, now can petition your sanctioning body and take you to court and have you explain to them, number one, why am I not getting this fight? Now, this person can cock block that fight just on the principle because you're going against your own bylaws to make a special concession for this. This is why some fighters, we talk about them getting step aside money because they have a rightful claim to that spot. But because these special circumstances and this special thing, the guy says, you know what? You've already exceeded the time. They've allotted you the time to negotiate for this big fight. Bro, I need my chance. AKA Stanionis, AKA Bakram, where we were saying some of these guys are getting rich off of step-aside money. You know what I'm saying? So to understand why this thing didn't happen and to understand how powerful that statement was, it just keeps going back to that debate that opened my eyes and Malazar's eyes in this channel to really understanding. Now you can't bullshit us about these details because we fucking know, because we could keep going back and the shit just keeps rewarding us to where they try to tell us that people don't know the business of boxing. Well, I'm not there for the contracts, but I know how that shit's supposed to run. And if this person's got a claim, then they're not gonna like for you to just come in there and just fuck it up, without reaching out to the other guys and saying, well, I was sitting at the number 3 spot and you moved me all the way down to the number 5 spot because you let this dude come from another weight division just because he got a big fucking name. You gotta explain to me why the fuck my name is now in a 5-6 spot, bro. I was a top 3 fighter. Go ahead.
The problem is people don't use their practical everyday life and examples with this stuff when it comes to boxing because it gotta fit into how they wanted to go. Like if you at a bar and y'all in line and the bartender is selective and saying, "Oh, hey, no, hold on, real quick." So he giving Shorty over here a big tall drink in front of y'all, and she just walking up because she got a big butt, and y'all just standing in line. Like that's what happened. Like, you know, crude illustration, but if you stand in line to get your burger and they like, "Hey, oh man, that's my cousin, man. Hey, what you want, cuz? Come up here." You gonna go ham. Yeah. Like that's what the structure of it all. Like when you can take somebody and think about this, they took it from the IBF's ranking system. In this case, that's the common denominator. Them two guys, the champion and then the number 10 guy. Like that fight didn't have to happen over there, bro.
No, it did not.
So did he gain? Like, yes, he gained because he was the inaugural and he made history and he had his people. So that was a victory for him and the feeling and the emotion and having the performance that he had where he got the dub against a tough, rough, rugged guy. Okay, cool, all of that. We like that for Ja, the fact that he won a strap and all that good stuff. That's not what we are really concerned about. We're looking at the bigger picture. We're not getting caught up just like all of the stuff that we talk about with versions and boots. People would think that we hate boots. No. It couldn't be the case. And I got a couple Q-tips. If you think that is, it's not that. It's like, okay, when we look at the moves with Eddie and what he done before and how he did Sabril and how he did, and we be sitting here outlining this off of the beaten path, looking at these guys and saying, "Hey man, I don't know, I'm concerned. I'm concerned for Tito right now." So it's not just specific, but we look at the moves and how they're moving, and then we put them all on the scale and we weigh it like that. So it sucks for Jai. But it also sucks for us because after Zerto, we thought it was going to be Ja.
Yeah.
And we don't know right now. And everybody talking about, Dana White talking about litigation. Everybody talking about just seeing somebody getting ready to go live, talking about how, you know, he got robbed of 80 grand. It just popped up. You know what I'm saying? So they talking about everything. They talking about everything but Ja's next move. And you know what? What's so crazy is we don't know why, because we don't know how long he's attached over there. We don't know the ramifications of all of that. This man might be in litigation trying to get his belt back, or we don't know. Nobody talking about it.
Yeah, and for me, it's looking at it like this. For me, the devil in the details is the mere fact of how you played this. Like, when we talk about boxers setting traps and have somebody walk into some shit that they didn't see and it just drops them. Now they're a little wobbly, their legs ain't really under them. They're getting a standing 8 count. The ref is wiping their gloves off on his shirt and shit like that. That's basically what this is. And for us, we're looking at it like, did Zuffa just pull this bullshit with the IBF and Ja to make it have an appearance of being 100% legit, 100%, you know, on the scale? Like, look, this is the perfect trap. This motherfucker not gonna see none of this, neither is the IBF. And they both gonna walk through the door, and as soon as the door closed, the whole bottom of the rug just gonna fall out from up under them, and they gonna fall into the pit with the spikes and then be impaled and not be able to move, because they'll just be wondering, how the fuck did we let this shit happen? So for me, it's like, you took Ja, you took this dude. Both of them are IBF. That's the thing. That's the devil in the detail. Both of them are in the IBF. So if it goes badly, you now can control the talking points. You can control the talking points to get public sympathy, and you can control the talking points to get public outrage, whichever direction you want to go. And right now, the earthquake that happened underwater It was a Rector 5 because Ja got stripped. The tsunami doesn't look that big right now because it's so far out. It's like a 3-foot wave, but it's got hundreds of miles to travel. How big do you fucking think that wave gonna be by the time that shit hit landfall?
Far.
Bro, that's the problem right there. Because the talking point is the IBF and both of these fighters being under the IBF. That's the devil in the detail. Watch how they play this shit.
And Aaron Jones, you hit it right on the head, and I hate to keep bringing that up. He said they are literally still in the blueprint from Al Heyman. You could tell they trying to steal the recipe, but at least Al Heyman gave his fighters free will. That's what I always said. I always said, man, listen, he is a corporation that operates with all these small franchises, to where like Earl had built up his franchise and grew it to where it was, and Al, that corporation, consulted with him, and that's how they did it. But it was like all these little businesses. I can't help it if right now you don't want to grow your business on pause, and you're ready to grow it again or get aggressive about it next week. That's how the boxers are. They were their own little businesses. That's why they used to get knocked for not being like the Top Rank. That's why Top Rank might have been necessary, because it was better for boxers that started. It might not have been a great idea for you to start out with PBC. It was rare. They might have introduced some people or signed some people or did whatever, got their manager to put them on, you know, and kind of or specialize in some undercards and went, but they was out with the knives and the pitchforks when Al was doing it. Only this is different. One, the salary is capped. One, it's a dictatorship. Al couldn't make them do nothing. Al gave them options. And depending on how you move, if you're moving conducive to where you can work like how Mr. Wonderful be doing on Shark Tank, when he say, oh, I got an airline company. Oh yeah, your treats and your goodies would be good. Oh, you do gourmet? I got an airline company. Like, Al was like Mr. Wonderful, putting all these little franchises together. And if somebody was messed up or didn't do right or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, we want people that's consistent and do business. That's why when it was going and it was, you know, like a well-oiled machine, yeah, it was always flies in the ointment. People getting hurt, people pulling out. That's in boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's just in boxing in general. That's not just subject to the people in the PBC. But they hated Al for that. This is totally different. And everybody shoving them down his throat. And look at this. They're attacking another indirectly. They just used Ja and they're attacking the IBF, and watch all the backlash. And the IBF has been one of the more standard ones. That's the one I say you got to give extra credit to. So we got to start looking at big picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of us get it. Some of us don't. We refuse to hear it because we just, oh man, you don't want to use your brain. It ain't that hard. It's the same brain you use when y'all here maneuvering in traffic.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you this. Shakur and Opetaia get that fight across the line. That fight happened. Let's just say Shakur win, and then Shakur decides not to pay the IBF. It's gonna be justified because they're gonna be like, well, how about this? The IBF stripped Bud twice. They stripped him at 40 and 47. So, hey, it's good for them. Watch.
So they'll be, and then I seen the headline. I don't even dive into it. I seen the headline where it said Shakur and Usyk over there. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that as they pull big names over there, we just seen. Okay, we got this example. We just seen this name. We seen Opetaia and Glanton. A lot of people didn't know Glanton or Bulletproof. They didn't know him or whatever. I only seen him fight like 2 or 3 times. Two for sure. I only seen him fight twice for sure. Live, I watched, not live, like not in the building, but I saw him on TV fight twice, all the way through. And you got the whole thing where Regis and Connor get across the line. Like, the only barometer is what they're giving us. We did see El Ryu do his thing over there, but like, can you remember the opponent? Anybody remember the opponent? Like, we've seen a couple of these guys, everybody didn't even realize that, I thought, because somebody had reported it, that De Los Santos was with Zuffa. But then I hear that Brian Norman said he signed him. So I thought Jay Prince had signed, but Brian Norman was the most recent say he signed him. So we don't know. But like, let's look at the level. Look at who they got now. Conor Ben never won a strap. all his fame is from some legacy stuff from his father name, and then being built up by Eddie over there as one of theirs, and then the Eubank circus shows. You know what I'm saying? So we know him from that, and then Regis. That's my guy, but like Regis, you know what I'm saying? A little, long in the tooth, not really quite the Regis of past. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we got, and then we just got Opetaia and Glanton. So every time they pull somebody over there to represent and fight for whatever arbitrarily, like you're gonna be the champion in this weight class or whatever. And they did do away with some of the in-between weight classes, which some people were belly aching about, you know what I'm saying? So that might be cool, but, in general. But we got to look at how the opponent's going to be, and they're still going to be pulling these guys from. So it'll be interesting to see if who's next. Let's flip a coin, AC. Is it going to be who's going to be next? Is it going to be after the IBF? Because we got to see all of that play out. So the WBC got attacked, the IBF got attacked. Who you think gonna get attacked next? The WBO or the WBA?
It'll probably be the WBA. I think because just that whole weird dynamic with BoxRec and the WBA, and somehow the Turks' involvement in all of that. I would probably say the WBA and then the WBO. They're gonna save the best for last because
I can see it.
Because I'm like, the WBO allowed Bud Crawford to become Bud Crawford, moving with that sanctioning body and always supporting him in what he wanted to do. The same thing with Shakur, so they're both proponents of the WBO, so you gotta really, really find a strategic argument of how to go after the WBO in a way that makes sense. And right now, I don't think they have that game plan.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, man, we want to say congratulations to Opetaia for, having a fight, another fight. You got to showcase his skills and getting ingratiated with the fans, and so I don't want the message to get misconstrued. We still are fans of Ja. It's just we believe that he was used.
Yeah.
So and we cooked on it because AC wasn't here yesterday, but like. Before we get ready to start wrapping it up, AC, I wanted to ask you about this whole Shakur thing. And I've been trying to stay away from it, but I'm like, they are just like the gifts that keep on giving, man, these guys online and the things that they're saying and how people are reacting. Well, we talked about Tim and his hypocrisy, which is, nothing new there, nothing new to see there. But the fact now that he wants to move back down to 35, and it's for the ring belt now, and it's going to be for Opetaia, who he pretty much coming full circle, coming back to the top rank for another top rank fighter that he didn't even have to leave to get that fight. Nope. I just find it interesting, man, and everybody is just, ain't nobody saying nothing about O'Shaquie and Ray Ford. I hope that paperwork is, I hope they red lighting, or what you call it, red line in terms, or however you want to put it. I hope they're going through that process and refining that. But like, this is just really weird that all of a sudden Shakur wants to get up out of 140 and he wants to come back. And all the people who, when we were saying what you crying for about the fee, if they stripped it, well, if you vacated, or you chose to not pay the fee on purpose and you vacated, what you crying for? Now he wants to go back down to 35. I just think that the timing of that is just, man, like, in no account of, I have not heard one video about him and how he has to fight any of the other champions at 140 now. None.
Yeah, and this is the crazy part, where it keeps on giving in so many different levels, because when it came down to the O'Shaquie call out and those who decided to actually have something to try to say to defend it, was Why would he go back down to 35? There's nothing down there for him at 35. Now that there's a potential ring fight down there for him, you know what I'm saying? That's enough for him to go down to 35 to fight Opetaia, not the guy who just said, I just want to beat you up. I'll be the guy that pays to get you reinstated. I just want to beat you up. There's no like, yo, what's going on? We can't support Shakur if he gon' do this and that, and you know, he pretty much got all of that fire at 140, but why is he now ducking all the fire at 140 to go down to 135? I've even seen someone comment and say, who's at 140?
They couldn't have been around me, AC, man. Somebody would have got slapped in the chops, bro. For real?
Yes, sir. Word to my babies. And then they went on a rant to say, well, you know, Hitchens is not there. He just did whatever. He just ducked the whole division. Gary lost, you know, already. You know, Andy Hiroka just lost. Dalton Smith ain't really nobody. Like who really knows who he is and stuff like that. And there might not even be any money in Shakur fighting Dalton Smith. And Pitbull Cruz, I mean, he already lost to Tank. That was the justification. I was like, did you seriously just fucking say that? Are you fucking with me? Like, are you seriously fucking with me? I said, okay, so what about a Tito Mercado? What if he wanted that shot? Because he was willing to fight a Padley, so Tito is not good enough. That's going backwards. Then what was fighting Padley? The electrician, the solar panel installer. That was actually moving forward. Nigga said he got a stoppage. I was like, all right, bro, I'm out, man. Y'all have a great one. I'm not even do this.
Wise man. I just find it interesting. I just find it interesting because, man, like when we be out here saying what we saying, they pop up and then when he change and flip, that's why I said I can't be a fan. You can't be out here one week saying this and the next week you saying that. Like now it's like, man, like we went through this with you know who. The pound for pound, number one, you know, Big Kahuna. You know what I'm saying? The man with the fish net. We went through this, man. Where one day, oh man, I ain't fighting him. That fight behind me. Tell him when he in an accident, tell him to get his drawers out his butt. Now that fight, is it gonna hurt my legacy? Nope. Is it gonna hurt his? Probably. Like we went through all of this, man, and it's like they giving this man a pass. They can say him and like Wally Kid and Wally Cat, man. They got the internet on fire right now. Whether it's commercial media or what you call new media, or man, he who controls the printed page, man, controls the thinking of this age, and they are doing it, man. Some of these comments, I'm like, I'm not even gonna waste my motherfucking thumb power, man, like to even address this, man. It's like, where do I start? But this is where boxing is. His twin, salute. This is where boxing at, man. I just thought it was odd that, like, man, and now Ryan, like, everybody's ducking him. Like, nobody's saying nothing about those Shockey thing. It's like, well, what does he have to offer? It's like that whole what does he have to offer type deal. And like, unless you are the money bag, like Melazar be saying, like that all I'll be hearing is quack, quack.
Yeah.
You know.
That's all I do. Oh. All right, that's all I hear, or you know, I hear the shit you go to the hunting store is the duck call, you know. So for me, when I'm just like this. Oshaki said in his most recent statement that you cooked on before, you was even bringing up the fact that Oshaki said he's willing to go up to 140 to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's saying he willing to go up to 140 to see you, you got the advantages. You would still say no to Oshaki Foster? That would kind of like give you the advantage because you trained, you had all of these big name people in the camp with you to help you train for this fight at 140. You looked at normally big and stuff like that. And, you know, physique wise, you did look impressive at 140. You know what I'm saying? I would only want to see you at 147 now because I think that's where you belong, despite the fact that you keep telling everybody you're a 135 pounder. So, being the fact that you telling everybody you're a 135 pounder, okay, right now, as it is right now, we take a snapshot of today, you know, and put it on the whiteboard. You said you're still a natural 135 pounder. There are two definitive fights on the table for you. One that you asking for and one that someone is challenging you for. You're asking for Opetaia. Oshaki's challenging you. Those are two fights you got. What's the issue? What is the real issue? Why can't you, if you say you're a natural 35 pounder and you're coming out your face and you're saying this, why can't you go get that belt if you beat him for that belt and then do a unification with that man for that WBC belt? So, you know, for me, I'm just like, you ain't moving like Bud. You ain't moving like none of the greats. You ain't moving like anybody that you saying you want your face to be up on that boxing Mount Rushmore. How are you?
And the fact he was never open to fighting. Neither one of them, Wally Kid or Wally Cat, was never open to fighting Andy Cruz, even though Shakur was on the same label with him. And Opetaia's claim to fame right now is the strap defense against Andy Cruz. And now all of a sudden he looking appetizing. And it is ironic, like AJ said, that it's being rumored that Tank going to 40 to fight Pitbull, which I don't know. I'm not claiming out all these guys that say they got inside track with Tank. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I wait for my guy to come out and put whatever he put out, and I get creative with whatever I feel like talking about when it comes to him. But it's odd that it's being rumored that Tank going to 40 to fight Pitbull. And all of a sudden, Shakur wants to go back down to 35. And I heard somebody spewing that nonsense today, talking about he's really a 35er. Man, get the GTFOH, man. Because they're picking and choosing, man.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what is Lemos? What is Gustavo Lemos? He can fight at 40 or 35. Tank can fight, if he wanted to, he could fight at 40. Technically, and he's smaller, so yeah, you could say, well, he ain't really a 40. Like, you could really say he a 35 because of how much he weighs. We could clearly see if you bigger than T.O., and T.O., they putting him up there with Ryan and all that, saying he basically announced that he going up there to 47, because I'm guessing it's a rumor that I don't know about Brian Norman. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. But like, they saying he going to 47 and Shakur is bigger than T.O., but yet he's a 35er. He could fight at either one. Being able to make the weight, it's the Devin Haney thing all over again. Just because you can suck down and make the weight and all that, that's cool. But like, it's just the timing for me. It's like just 2-3 weeks ago, what you want to do that for? Why would he do that? Like, man, come on, man. He's at 40. But they don't talk about him fighting nobody, unifying or fighting nobody at 40. No pressure for nobody at 40. He won't go up to 47 to fight Ryan. It's either a catch weight or all kind of rehydration, or Ryan come down to him, or Ryan's ducking. But he won't go to 35, get his strap back and fight Oshaki, or be the A side and let Oshaki come up to 40 and fight him. It's like no matter what, they find a way to. That's why I said I'm off. I've been off, man. Yeah. It's been a minute now, but I'm off, man. But Shaka go from 30 to 40 to fight Shakur, but Shakur won't go to 47 for Ryan, and Ryan is ducking.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. That is the crazy part. It's like, I just got my belt. Why would I go down to your weight class? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that I was gonna address that as well. And you know, that part. Like you run around and you keep saying people are you know bigger or smaller, or you just got this weird thing about size, Shakur. You know what I'm saying? To whereas you fought a small ass um who did you fight that one? Valdez. You fought a small ass Valdez. But you telling everybody else that they only took the fight because the guy was smaller. And as far as Keyshawn, I wanted to also bring this up too. I just seen like a little like article clip of from Ring Magazine where Keyshawn is like, I got a name and a possible whatever for my next opponent. Like, why are you trying to make it seem like you're the champ and you're the money man, and when you make your announcement, that's gonna really, you know, turn up the boxing world. Like, at the end of the day, man, it's what you're supposed to be doing, bro. If you run around here telling us you're the best and you feel you're the best in the world, then tough competition is what you're supposed to do. You're looking for the best fighter, you know, that's available, or that you can make the fight with, and you know, hopefully he's got a great name behind him. So I just look at it as you're seeing how they're trying to treat these moments like this is going to be some big announcement. So here's the precursor to what's about to go, and they're trying to steal, you know, or mismanufacture what was authentic with Tank, where we heard rumors about who he was gonna fight, and that caused the whole internet to get up in an uproar and stuff like that. And then when it was finally announced, you know, the haters are gonna hate, the Tank fans are gonna be good with the fight and things like that, and it's just gonna now start to cause this cause the internet to just get on fire, you know. So yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think he cared either, but for me it's more like they're trying to generically create the buzz around when these guys are going to announce fights or they're interested in a fight. It's that linguini method that you're talking about.
You stole the thunder right there. I was about to say, that was what I was about to say, man. As soon as the natural pause would have happened, I would say, man, that's the linguini method. And watch it. I don't know if it, I thought Louis Crocker and Liam Poirot, I thought people were saying something about that, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Louis Crocker because he kind of said it, but it is the linguini method. It's the linguini method, man. They thought it's like Devin did it for years.
Yeah,
I went through this for years. It's just I'm off of Devin's back for a little while like that. You know what I'm saying? But they doing the same thing. They all these different names, like all these different names, not just different names, but different names in different weight classes. So now Keyshawn want to go up and Shakur want to go down. It's just weird, man. Like this, and it's acceptable though. You know, I'm not arguing no more with these the kind of fans that Bob and Aaron used to talk about. I'm not arguing with them, man. Y'all can go ahead and stay right over there by the bush. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep marching along, but like I think we did this one justice, AC, man. How you wanna, what you wanna lead the people with, man? How you wanna land, man?
Man, I just want to land right here. Keep your eyes open. Be extremely skeptical about, the way they're trying to fit this square peg in this round hole concerning Zuffa versus traditional boxing or the sanctioning bodies. I don't know how this whole thing is going to land, but we already know that the tsunami is coming. You just have to brace yourself, get your gear, go out and get your water right now before the panic set in and everybody start running towards one direction and shit. We already know. We saw the earthquake. We read the news. So at the end of the day, just be prepared and follow this shit closely, because these things are going to affect the sport that we love, you know, in slow motion over time. So we put the stakes in the ground. We've been following this stuff. There's still more to follow with it. It's still several more shows, because this shit just keeps giving, because we're seeing the agenda and we're hearing other people try to piggyback off of the stakes in the ground that we're setting, and then take that and give their take on it. But you know where you're hearing it first. You know how in depth we're going with it and stuff like that. And this is just another one of those great shows that have you think, and excuse me, hopefully Opetaia, he can find a way around this, between, if Dana White is saying the litigation and all of this other stuff, then it's pretty much maybe the IBF taking Zuffa to court, and then Jai is going to be a key witness, because the fraud was based around what they did with Jai and what they did, what Dalton, having both of them being under the IBF, but neither one of them are fighting for an IBF title. So that's the weird shit about it. So that's the devil in the details, and it let's just see where this shit gets interesting. So that's where I'm gonna land it, and unfortunately, this is a, you know, to be continued.
All right, then, my guy. Well, you know what I'm saying? It was good show, man. As always, you drop bars. I'm sure the playback is gonna be on fire. You know what I'm saying? We going a little bit earlier. I haven't permanently moved the time. It's just I'm doing things 3 hours earlier, so I'm trying to get my body in line. And so, you know, we'll be back with another one, man. We'll be cooking again soon. But enjoy your evening, bro. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, man. Well, we got another good one in the books, y'all. Hopefully we was able to put something on your mind. You know, I kind of feel for Jai, man. It's kind of it's bittersweet, you know, because in the grand scheme of things, this big picture, man, like, it's bad when you got casualties, and the casualties actually happen to be the boxer and their dreams and their aspirations. I'm sure he got more than enough money, but like, it's certain fighters that it ain't just about the money. Like, yeah, it is about the money, but like, yeah, he wanted to do something for his people. You could tell that he said, they asked him, what you gonna do after this? He said, man, I'm just gonna go home and just relish in the moment and enjoy it. I'm just gonna sit on my bed. Man put in some work, man, and he said he wasn't gonna go out and paint the city red or pop no champagne or none of that. He said, I'm gonna go home and sit on my bed and just enjoy the moment. It's bittersweet that they snatched his strap, but y'all gotta understand, that's a bigger picture. This has nothing specifically to do with Jai Opetaia. This is a nasty game that's being played by the powers that be, and all we can really do is practice what I always preach on this channel: silence is consent. Meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to the things that need to be spoken to in the sport of boxing. This is fruits and veggies, not dead Reggie. That fact-based content, not opinion-based. Even though we have our opinions, we try to ground it in facts. You know, sometimes we react to what people say. Sometimes we say, hey, listen, you said this the other day, now you're saying this. We try not to get caught up like this. And like AC did in the beginning, if he say something, he's so thorough and humble that he'll come back and correct himself. I do the same thing. If I be like, oh, I was listening to the playback, hey, let me correct this. Why? Because me, I'm a perfectionist of some sort. It's always gonna be flies in the ointment. I'm not perfect at all. But this is a channel where you can come, you can have your opinion. It can be different than ours. This is the 300. You know what I'm saying? We do get into some light sparring, some heavy sparring sometimes, but we always try to be informative and entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what's next for Job. What y'all think what's next for Job? If you catch this on the playback, talk to me, holler at me. I'll talk back. Let me know. Leave a comment, you know what I'm saying? Share the video, like, comment, subscribe, support, super chat, super thanks. We be having a goal, and I think we be doing a good job at putting some good information out there. Sometimes we might stretch your brain muscle, but that's what we're here to do. So support the channel. But think about the big picture. Think about the two different things, like the two different things that we highlighted here in today's session. You know, the move and how they kind of use Opetaia. You know what I'm saying? We got to see how this is going to pan out. But then look at the big picture as far as another potential big fight opponent for David Benavidez getting off path and off kilter. Because we thought after 0, even though we're not going to count our chicken before they hatch. But we as fans, we can do that. The boxers shouldn't do that. They got to look at the next step and get past that. Our job is like, as fans, because we don't have a basketball schedule or football schedule. Like, we don't know, but we can look forward a little bit, not looking past the opponent. That was going to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? For some belts. You know, that was going to be some legacy stuff, some big fight with some credentials behind it. Not like a fight that, you know, took 4 months and still ain't been made without no hardware on the line. That was going to be for some hardware. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about how the WBC was getting attacked in all of that motion. Now look at how the IBF is getting attacked. And then listen to these Hall of Famers out here who will tell you one day, they'll curse you out and tell all the fans that y'all ain't this and y'all ain't that because y'all think that the ring belt is all this and all that, and then co-sign one of their little buddies to go do something specifically for a ring belt and not check them specifically, but to call all these other guys out by name and rant about it. This is the state of boxing, y'all. That's why I called it the state of boxing. That was one of it. Big picture boxing, y'all. So hopefully you gain something from that. Y'all know how it is when it come down to this boxing talk. I can talk it all night long. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.